South Dakota Republican Senator Mike Rounds is a member of the Armed Services and Foreign Relations Committees, and he joins us now. Senator, obviously a lot of moving parts, a lot of opaqueness here, too, for the American public. I'm hoping you can give us a better glimpse of what's happening here.
What we know is that Mr. Putin right now is in charge of his own schedule. We are not. This has been going on since last March. He's continued to make his buildup. It's unfortunate that we find ourselves as a nation in the position of offering diplomacy, but not being in as strong a position as we should be with regard to providing defensive capabilities to the Ukrainians.
Senator, you mentioned last March and then our position. It seems like we're trying to catch up. I wasn't aware that the origins of this go back that far. And if that's the case, why haven't we been prepared better? Why weren't we over there helping to train more effectively? Why weren't we giving them or selling the sort of systems that would allow the Ukrainian people to defend themselves more effectively?
I think Mr. Biden has had his focus in other areas. The fact that he was working on getting out of Afghanistan. In the meantime, he's been working on his own domestic policies here at home. And right now, I think Mr. Putin has followed this whole thing, and he's decided that this is the right time in which he can push his agenda. And unfortunately, we're not doing as much as we could be doing without actually encumbering any of our troops. Just to give you an example, if we would have started with our defensive capabilities in Ukraine earlier, that might have made Mr. Putin rethink whether or not it was worthwhile to actually come in and attack them. Knowing that he could have loss of life that was greater than what he wanted. Second of all, right now, as you know, we've had in the United States a change in our heart with regard to being a producer of energy. And beginning with Mr. Biden stepping in and shutting down pipelines, deciding that he didn't want to do oil and gas leases on federal lands, that sent a message to the crude oil, or at least to the markets, that they're going to have to increase the price on crude oil, which right now, as you know, has resulted in significant increases to the American public, over 40% increases due to inflation on the supply side with regard to petroleum. The same thing impacts Russia, except on the other side. Mr. Putin gets more for his products. Right now, if we opened up production again and we said immediately, let's go on out, let's open production up again, let's start being a producer again, that would drop the price and it would give Mr. Putin less dollars, less money to actually use to fund his armies.
Senator, along the lines of that, one question being asked today is about Nord Stream 2. And if we can, in fact, trust the Germans to shut down the pipeline if there's a Russian invasion, where does this stand right now?
My understanding in talking with other members who have actually spoken with German officials, they have very little doubt but that Germany would shut down that pipeline. That's the information I'm receiving personally from other members. And I tend to believe them because I think Germany right now is recognizing that Mr. Putin has to be stopped. He has to have a very, very strong message sent, or otherwise he's going to do it again. Europe needs to have peace if they're going to thrive. I don't think Germany wants war any more than anybody else does. I don't think anybody wants to have war. And I think part of that sends a message to Mr. Putin that if he does this, all hell is going to break out, but it's going to be economic hell. And it's going to be one that's going to really hurt his country badly. And there's going to be pain and suffering. Don't get me wrong. There's pain and suffering on our part of it as well. When you do sanctions, you're telling your own business people that they can't do business. Financial services are going to hurt. But Germany clearly, I believe, understands how serious this is as their neighbors are being attacked or at least threatened at this point. Hopefully Mr. Putin still has time to back off, but it's getting closer to the point where he's going to have to make a decision. He's got some frontline troops on there that they normally don't allow to deploy. They go back in and train again, but they don't leave them on the front lines very long unless they're going to use them.
Senator Rounds, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.